really wanted to talk about what I believe is one of the most underreported stories happening right now, which is the Guantanamo hunger strikes.
Yeah.
So the Miami Herald, big shout out to them. They've been doing fantastic coverage of the Guantanamo hunger strikes. And they actually have a chart that they update every day. And you can see the evolution of the hunger strikes, over the past month or so. And as of Monday, April 29th, there were 100 total hunger strikers. 21 are being fed with tubes, which, remember, certain human rights groups qualify that as a form of torture, and 5 have been hospitalized. And, I mean, to me, this is a huge, huge story. This is, on par with the hunger strikes in Ireland, you know?
And just real quick before you keep going with the story, just because I don't want anyone tuning out, I got tweets from people who follow me, which means they've got to be somewhat liberal, right? Who are like, well, I don't care. These are Guantanamo guys, right? They're like terrorists. And people forget, because it's not talked about it, that 80% of them have been cleared of any wrongdoing?
Yeah, and we have a chicken shit government that, doesn't want to bring them into domestic prisons because they're terrorists, even though, again, as Jamie said, the majority of them have been cleared of all charges, and don't want to send them back to their countries because they're like, well, now they're super pissed off at us, so they might attack the United States. So it's like, are you going to just keep these guys there till they die?
Because you fucked up.
Right.
Not because they did anything, but because you fucked up and you got a little Arab lockup crazy. And just started grabbing people that fucking had a beard.
Yeah. But it's the definition of political cowardice. And it's not just Congress. It's not just the president. It's everybody. And everybody has had a chance to fix this, and they just haven't done it.
And the problem is, when it comes to chicken shit politicians and a constituency that doesn't give a fuck, this is not a popular thing to run on. You know what I mean? Because if the majority of people don't know that 80% have been cleared of wrongdoing, and you have a politician saying, I elect me so I can help the people in Guantanamo, people are just going to say you have a pro-terrorist agenda, just like if you try to fight the war on drugs, which has done nothing and puts us in more danger, and primarily affects young men of color. You're seeing a soft on crime.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you point out, our domestic prison thing, too, because obviously Guantanamo has global implications, but hunger strikes that happen in domestic prisons are also a really underreported phenomenon in this country.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't even say phenomenon because they happen pretty regularly. Any kind, like protests and hunger strikes. The prison reform movement is a really I don't want to say underreported beat because there are journalists who do really amazing, extensive coverage of it. But on the national scale, we really don't talk about the horrible conditions in our prisons.
Yeah, and I forget if Jeremy Scahill said it on our show or said it at one of the book events we went to. But he's really been making this point of talking about, your country isn't, I don't want to fucking... I'm going to terribly paraphrase this, but you shouldn't judge your country by how it treats the most well-off citizens.
The most privileged citizens.
Yeah.
It's how you treat the least advantaged, the most hated members of your society.
That's what proves you're better.
Right.
That's what proves you're fucking decent, not how many countries you can bomb and invade.
We're not even talking about the Guantanamo prisoners because most of them have been cleared of any charges, but even actual terrorists, right? Somebody who actually blows up an airplane or, attacks the World Trade Center or something. How you treat that person is actually how you measure how great your society is.
Right. That doesn't mean free him, go to the park and, teach him how to play the ukulele. I just pictured a terrorist hanging out with Zooey Deschanel, and I got so happy. But it's well, what's the least we give them a fucking trial.
Yeah, a public trial. Yeah.
You don't torture them.
Right.
You know what I mean? These are very basic. If you were going to enter into, a relationship with a new country or with, a person, those would be, the least, do you torture?
Well, not only that, it's for all of these right-wing hacks who are national security, there's nothing that's going to make your country safer than setting an example like that. Because if we start to torture people, then what's stopping other countries from, if they capture our soldiers, torturing them?
Yeah, and they're going to be pretty pissed off, too.